Visual. The video opens with a stock image of a person standing in a dimly lit room with their shadow looming large and distorted behind them. The host is then introduced in a well-lit, but slightly dramatic setting, with soft, yet deliberate lighting, speaking directly to the camera with a calm, yet intense and thoughtful tone. Host. Have you ever had a thought that shocked you? An impulse you immediately pushed away? A part of you that you instinctively hide from the world, and even from yourself? We all have these parts. They are the traits, emotions, and desires we've been taught are unacceptable, the pieces of ourselves we've locked away in the deepest corners of our minds. Welcome to Elevate Mindset. Today, we are undertaking a profound and courageous journey into the most hidden aspect of our personality, the shadow self. We'll explore what it is, why we create it, and why confronting it is not a journey into darkness, but a path to profound self-discovery and an authentic source of power you never knew you had. This isn't about wallowing in our flaws. It's about integrating every part of who we are, the light and the dark, to become whole. This journey requires courage, but the reward is a life of true authenticity, freedom, and an unshakable inner strength. So, take a deep breath, and let's begin the unmasking. Visual, animated graphics illustrating the concept of the shadow self. A figure is shown, with a bright, acceptable side, and a dark, hidden side that is a mirror image of the first. The host explains a concept with a clear and concise voice. Host. The concept of the shadow self was first popularized by the great psychologist Carl Jung. He described it as the unconscious part of our personality that the conscious ego doesn't want to identify with. It contains everything we rejected about ourselves, our repressed desires, our primitive instincts, our deepest fears, our shame, and our perceived weaknesses. It's the part of us that holds the anger we refuse to feel, the jealousy we deny, the insecurities we pretend we don't have. From a young age, we are conditioned by society, our families, and our culture to believe that certain traits are good and others are bad. We are praised for being kind, cooperative, and selfless, and we are shamed for being selfish, angry, or ambitious in a way that goes against the grain. In an effort to be loved and accepted, we push these bad parts of ourselves into the shadows, creating a mask or persona for the world to see. This act of suppression doesn't make the shadow disappear. It simply buries it. And like anything buried, it will find a way to emerge, often in unpredictable and destructive ways. We might project our shadow onto others, vehemently judging in them the very traits we despise in ourselves. We might find ourselves inexplicably attracted to or repelled by people who embody the parts of us we've repressed. The shadow, unacknowledged, can control our life from the unconscious. Visual. Scenes showing the consequences of an unacknowledged shadow. Someone having an explosive, out-of-character outburst of anger. A person subtly sabotaging their own success. A person in a toxic relationship, drawn to a partner who embodies their repressed traits. The music is tense and dramatic. Host. An unacknowledged shadow is a ticking time bomb. Because we refuse to integrate these parts of ourselves, they remain primitive and undeveloped, waiting for a moment of weakness to emerge. This can manifest in a number of ways. Projection. We see our own insecurities, flaws, and repressed anger in others. We might become enraged by someone's arrogance because we have denied our own ambition and desire for recognition. We might despise someone's laziness because we've been working so hard to repress our own desire to relax and do nothing. When you find yourself with an intense, irrational judgment of another person, there's a very good chance you are seeing your own unacknowledged shadow in them. Self-sabotage. The shadow can become an internal enemy, working against our conscious desires. We might want to be successful, but our unconscious fear of failure or our repressed feelings of unworthiness can lead us to procrastinate, miss deadlines, or make poor decisions that undermine our efforts. Cycles of destructive behavior. An unacknowledged shadow can be a driver of addiction, toxic relationships, and self-destructive habits. We are unconsciously trying to numb or fill the void left by a part of ourselves that we've abandoned. We are drawn to people and situations that force us to confront what we've been hiding, but without awareness, we simply repeat the same painful patterns. The key message here is that what we deny, we empower. The shadow, when left unexamined, becomes a master of our lives. Visual, a graphic illustrating the process of integration. The light and dark sides of a figure are shown merging into a single, whole, and powerful being. The host's tone becomes more empowering and encouraging. Host. So, how do we begin the process of unmasking and integrating the shadow? First, we must reframe our mindset. This is not a battle to be won. This is a journey of self-acceptance and integration. The goal is not to eliminate the shadow, but to bring it into the light of consciousness and learn from it. Here are a few practices to get you started. Acknowledge and observe. The first and most crucial step is simply to acknowledge the shadow's existence. When you have a moment of intense anger, instead of immediately judging yourself, ask, what is this anger trying to tell me? When you feel a pang of jealousy, ask, what desire or need is this jealousy pointing to? The simple act of observation without judgment is the most powerful tool. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes them. Practice compassionate curiosity. Approach your shadow with the same curiosity and compassion you would a lost child. Ask it questions. Why are you here? What are you afraid of? What do you need? This is not about condoning destructive behavior, but about understanding its root cause. Maybe the anger you feel is a protector, trying to set a boundary you've been afraid to set. Maybe the insecurity you feel is a call to develop a new skill or talent you've been ignoring. Journaling and dream work. The unconscious mind communicates through symbols and narratives. Journaling about your emotional triggers and your dreams can be powerful tools for uncovering your shadow. Pay attention to the characters in your dreams who you fear or dislike. They may be projections of your own shadow. Write about your most irrational judgments of others and see if you can identify where you have those same traits within yourself. Practice forgiveness. Forgive yourself for hiding these parts. Forgive the people or the societal norms that taught you that certain parts of you were unacceptable. The goal is to release the shame and judgment that keeps your shadow in the dark. This process of integration is a continuous one. It is a commitment to living with radical honesty and compassion towards every part of yourself. Visual. A powerful montage of images. A person harnessing their anger to stand up for something they believe in. A person using their insecurity as fuel to practice and get better at a skill. A person embracing their selfishness to finally set a healthy boundary. The music is empowering and triumphant. Host. This is the most profound and exciting part of the journey. The shadow is not a monster. It is a vault of untapped potential and a source of incredible power. When you bring these hidden parts into the light, you can consciously choose how to use their energy for good. The power in anger, acknowledged and understood. Anger can be the force that helps you stand up for yourself, set boundaries, and fight for justice. The power in laziness. When we stop judging our laziness, we can hear its message. It might be a sign of burnout, a need for rest, or a call to let go of an obligation that doesn't serve you. The power in insecurity. When we embrace our insecurity, we can use it as a compass. It points directly to the areas where we need to grow, learn, and build confidence. The power in envy. Envy, when unmasked, is a powerful signal. It reveals what we truly desire and gives us the energy to pursue it. It is not a sign of weakness. It is a signal of unfulfilled longing. By integrating the shadow, you don't just become a better version of yourself. You become a more authentic, whole, and powerful version of yourself. You stop being a victim of your unconscious and become a conscious creator of your life. The energy that was once used for fighting yourself can now be used for building and creating. Visual. The host is back on screen, smiling with a sense of peace and understanding. The final shots are of people who are visibly comfortable in their own skin, expressing a full range of emotions with authenticity. Host. In our society, strength is often defined by a rigid persona of perfection. We are taught to be strong by suppressing our pain, our fear, and our vulnerability. But as we've seen today, that is a recipe for internal conflict. The true definition of strength, as taught by this process, is a courage to be fully human. It is the ability to hold both the light and the dark within you. It is a willingness to be imperfect, to feel your emotions without judgment, and to live a life of authenticity. When you have faced and integrated your shadow, you become less reactive, less judgmental of others, and more compassionate towards yourself. You are no longer afraid of the dark corners of your own mind. You understand that your full power is not in the light alone, but in the harmony of both your light and shadow. This integration leads to a sense of inner peace and an unshakable self-confidence that is not based on external validation, but on radical self-acceptance. Visual. The host speaks directly to the camera with a calm, compelling gaze. The final shot is a slow zoom on the host's face, conveying a sense of profound peace and understanding. The music swells and fades out. Host, unmasking your shadow self is not an easy journey. It is a commitment to look at the part of yourself you've been running from. But it is also the most liberating and empowering journey you will ever take. Begin today with one small act of awareness. The next time you feel a powerful, negative emotion, pause, take a breath, and ask it what it needs to tell you. Be kind to yourself in the process. Remember, you are not broken, you are whole, and your true power is waiting for you in the very places you have been afraid to look. Embrace your full self, for it is in that wholeness that you will find your greatest strength and your deepest sense of peace. End screen. Elevate Mindset logo. Call to action. Subscribe for more insights on self-discovery and personal power. And a question for viewers. What is one aspect of your shadow self you are ready to explore? Share your thought below.